So MeteoMark weather update here. Let's take a look at pictures from New Hampshire here. Jason Scholler. Thunderstorm with heavy rain and wind moving into the McGrath Pond in Maine. Shelf cloud looked very ominous in person. You can see, look at these ominous looking pictures here. And as he says, it does much more justice in person to actually see these. Photographs can only go so far. But take a look at these photos here that Jason Scholler sent in. And you can see we have a few more pictures of the storm here, but the one that you can see, it really shows the height of the storm here. This last photo here, look at this. A picture of this thunderstorm. It's the same storm. It had a great structure as it was moving over the lake. And of course, all these photos being of the same storm, but this is as it was moving across, coming over the lake. And you can see the whole towering structure of this negatively tilted thunderstorm here, billowing cumulonimbus clouds. Very ominous looking. Thank you, Jason, for sending that in. And had some thunderstorms up that way this weekend, and looks like we got more thunderstorms moving that way over the next couple days. So let's get right into my Gmail box here. I think we have, I believe it's Derek Rentschler from Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. Here are some storm clouds. Okay, these are the right order. This is actually on my birthday, August 3rd, 2013, on Saturday. And this is from Derek Rentschler from the Lebanon County Fair in Pennsylvania. The storms did not hit us, but they came very close. He was watching the demolition derby and the fireworks at the fair. And I'll save this last sentence for last because, of course, I like those photos really nicely. But look at these ominous storm clouds. Thankfully, you didn't get these. They didn't hit you head on at the county fair, Derek, there. But he got quite a show there with off in the distance there. Some very ominous looking clouds here. Now, let me read this. He had a nice sunset at that night, however. After all that really bad looking thunder clouds, cumulonimbus clouds, look at this beautiful sunset that he got a nice picture of here. So thank you, Derek. That's a nice way to end a nice, interesting, fun, and eventful evening after having some close calls with some thunderstorms. So glad it worked out for you. And we got, see, I think I got a few more photos here. I think it's from Robert Jason Stone. I believe he's in South Carolina here. And, alright, he says it's very warm down there, I would imagine. And here we go on I-77 north at the rest area near exit 73 in Hamptonville, North Carolina. Dark clouds nearing the area. Take a look at this. Very dark and ominous clouds. And this paints pretty much the story. He took some different shots here. And interesting tree there. You can see some of the blossoms. Red blossoms, or I don't know if those are leaves or blossoms, but they look interesting. But very dark, and he says, of course, it's very warm. So he was down in South Carolina, but these pictures were taken on I-77 heading north. He's probably heading away from South Carolina at that point. Hamptonville, North Carolina. So thank you, Robert, for your weather report there. Has some scattered popcorn thunderstorms in that area. So let's get right on into the forecast. I believe that's all we got. If I missed any interesting weather photos, I'll catch them in my next video here. Let's take a look at the 72-hour precipitation amounts. Lion's share of the precipitation across Kansas, eastern Colorado, heading right over towards southern Missouri, and Kentucky, heading over towards the Central Appalachians, where we could get a band of 2 to 4 inches of rain, likely out of these flash flooding type style thunderstorms that train. We're going to get these complexes. We had some severe flood emergencies in portions of especially southeastern Missouri early this morning, so heed those flood warnings. And heading on up to the northeast here, we have some of that heavy rains mainly confined to the Poconos, Catskills, and parts of western New England, and most of that will fall Wednesday night into Thursday evening as well. So that's your quantitative precipitation forecast. Here's some in South Florida and the rest of the Florida Peninsula for that matter, probably 1 to 2 inches with those tropical downpours. Let's take a look at your Wednesday. We're at the midpoint of the week, thankfully, here. And look at this. We have more trouble here in the Kansas area heading over towards Missouri. More severe thunderstorms likely. We have a new area popping up here from Cleveland down to Cincinnati and extending down towards Louisville, where we could see some scattered strong storms here, maybe as far east as the Pittsburgh area, come 7, 8, 9 p.m. tomorrow evening. And prepare in the northeast, because this will all be moving your way. You get some scattered showers and possibly some isolated thunderstorms out of this. Temperatures will be pretty mild across the Ohio Valley here into the northeast. Upper 70s, some low 80s popping out here in portions of the Ohio Valley. Much hotter down south here, where Dallas you'll be well over 100. Little Rock the same. And heading over towards Florida, we remain pretty tropical up to Atlanta. And extending on up towards Caribou, Maine, where we'll be in the low to mid 70s. Heading on to the day on Thursday, look at this. With this front kind of moves up the Ohio Valley, and we get this secondary front moving towards the northeast here. This is where we could see some scattered strong thunderstorms. The wording here is scattered. We're not going to see a widespread severe weather outbreak. Nevertheless, I put you in the red to keep an eye on the sky, especially from 2 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, across portions of Binghamton, Syracuse, extending down towards Williamsport, maybe as far west as Pittsburgh and Albany as well. Parts of western New England as well, up towards Burlington, and just west of the Concord area. Looking down south here, we start to erode some of the severe weather outbreak across Kansas and Oklahoma, or just north of Oklahoma, extending onto the Missouri. But then we start to get this heavy rain, flash flooding problems. And then, of course, here in the central southern plains here, this is where we continue to bake well up into the 100s. Heading on into the day on Friday, TGIF, this front kind of moves south and stalls across the mid-Atlantic. Hopefully we can get this out of the way by the weekend. And we have a secondary front, which is a precursor of some cold air. I shouldn't say cold, cool air building for this time of year, upper 60s and low 70s, which will make their way across the lakes and possibly bleed down into portions of the northeast and New England by the end of the weekend, the start of your work week next week. So that's what we're looking at here. We're not looking at any major tropical problems here across the southeast and Florida. Speaking of tropics, let's take a look at that satellite picture quick as of early evening here on Tuesday. You see the intertropical convergence zone looking fairly robust, but nothing really that catches the eye. And up here and through portions south of Florida over Cuba, we have some interesting areas, but no circulations, no areas of concern at this point. And we're not looking at too many areas. We do have these high pressure areas over the Atlantic here, continuing to steer any system that does develop in the direction of the west-northwest towards the Bahamas and the islands here. So that's what we're going to be looking at for the tropics here. Not too much to talk about. Tropics should begin to heat up during the next couple weeks. The models are hinting at it, so please stay tuned with me. I'm still on tropical watch. These 2 months here are very critical, August and September. Like me on Facebook at MeteoMark for my micro weather updates. Subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMark.com. Here's a 4-day forecast for my hometown viewers from Binghamton to Elmira and the northern tier counties of Pennsylvania. Wednesday, midpoint of the week, scattered showers and thunderstorms in the Susquehanna region of New York from Binghamton down to Scranton. And we're looking over towards Elmira too. Look at this. Heading up towards the mid-70s, mid to high 70s. So Thursday, this is the day to watch. Scattered strong storms most of the day, well, mainly during the afternoon hours. Upper 70s to lower 80s, depending on where you're at. These lows are fairly warm from what we've seen. Lower 60s. Friday we head on into lower 80s. It's actually going to be a bit warmer than I originally thought. We'll be just north of that stationary front. But by this weekend we start to clear things out, and that's when we start to get lower humidity. And off of this extended forecast chart, it will actually start to get cooler and even less humid, with a very nice week shaping up next week, which works out perfect for me because I'm pretty much on vacation all next week. Although I will have weather updates throughout the week, so do not worry, as I plan to take a lot of my equipment with me. So I plan on doing micro updates and videos as well. That's going to do it for MeteoMark.